Kahono has just dropped on the global side of Black Clover Mobile, and maybe you made a bad decision and summoned on this banner, even though it was really a skip banner because we have Season 3 coming up, or maybe you're a pay-to-play player and you just really wanted these characters like myself. But either way, if you have the character and you're here on this video, we are going to be talking about how you guys should build the character, what skills you want to upgrade first, what skill cards you want to equip, what gear you want to put on her, whether or not you should be enhancing her, what talents you want to do, and then of course what teams she is going to fit on for both PvP and PvE. So to start with, her passive skill, you unlock it by reaching LR. Mine is not LR yet because I just got her today, but it will give you an extra 10% increased max HP. That is really good because her entire kit scales based on her own HP, so that's going to help her a lot, okay? And then her skill 1 is called Sonar Bomb. It grants the ally with the lowest HP ratio continuous HP recovery equal to 4% of own max HP for 4 turns. Now that is really good. I don't like with these skills that you don't get to choose the ally you want to heal necessarily. It just gives it to the lowest, so that's kind of rough. It would be nice if you were able to choose in this game. But that is nice having continuous HP recovery for 4 turns. That's a lot of turns, and then it can be up to 8% because it adds a percent every time you level up the skill. So 8% of own max HP recovering the ally for 4 turns could be very good. However, it is only a single target skill, so I actually don't recommend leveling up this skill first because the other skills are better, being that they are AoE target skills. So skill 2 is called Rhythm Barrier. It grants all allies a 14% of own max HP as a barrier for 2 turns. That is really unique because as a barrier character, I believe she's the only one in the game right now that scales based on HP instead of magic attack. Like Rades and Noelle both scale off a magic attack, whereas she is going to scale off her own HP, which is really cool. And then grants all allies an increased defense level 2 buff for 2 turns, which is nice. That's 140% extra defense. And additionally, she grants all allies an increased HP recovery received level 2 buff for 2 turns. So that's going to increase the amount of healing that your teammates will receive if you use this before using her special skill, which is really cool. And then additionally, with the barrier meta right now, you can make it even more annoying by upgrading the skill first, and you'll get barrier plus 4% each time you do it, for a total of granting the allies 30% of your own max HP at level 5. That is a lot of barrier added on to, like, if you were to run this girl with Rades and Noelle, that could be very, very annoying. So yeah, there's that. And then the special skill is called Healing Lullaby. Grants all allies HP recovery equal to 20% of her own max HP. That is insanely good, okay? And then grants all allies an increased all attack level 2 buff for 2 turns. We love increasing attack as well. So I like that Kahono not only does healing, but she also has defense, and she also is a buffer for your allies by increasing their attack. That's all very, very, very good. But in terms of like upgrade priority for her skills, I would say it's skill 2 first. Then I would do the special skill, because as you upgrade the special skill, you'll get plus 5% HP recovery, right? And that'll just add to how much this is here. So it goes from 20% to 30% after level 3, and then from 30% to 40% after level 5, right? So 40% HP recovery, plus the additional HP recovery you get from the secondary skill, which is really nice as well. Okay, so you could do a lot of healing with Kahono. The only problem with her is you don't have multi-target healing all the time like you do with someone like Charmy or Mimosa, because this skill right here actually doesn't do any healing. And so you have the primary skill with single target healing that you could do, but it's just, she's not going to heal as frequently, basically, because you're relying on her special for the majority of her big healing, right? But yep, priority, do skill 2, then do your special skill, then skill 1. Okay. As far as the combo skill goes, I can't believe they didn't give her a combo skill with her brother, but she will buff the partner mage. So grants the partner mage HP recovery equal to 20% of own max HP. So it heals. It's nice, right? It can be increased how much recovery you give up to 40% once again, but this is only a single target. So like, why would you use this over using your ult? This does like basically the same thing as your ult, but not as good. And then the other thing is it grants an increased all attack level 5 buff to the partner's attack. So that gives them 70% attack instead of what your ult gives, which is only 40% attack. So I mean, I guess it's kind of a trade-off. If you want more attack, you could use the combo skill, but more often than not, you're going to want the AoE healing. So yeah, you're not going to really be upgrading the combo skill right away. That'd be like the last thing I upgrade personally. And then as for skill cards you can put on her, right now I have an SR skill card. It's definitely not the best, but I feel like it's pretty decent for what I have option wise. And what this is going to do is upon taking a critical hit, there is a 30% chance to grant a 42% increased defense buff for 2 turns. So giving someone like this more defense is just going to give them more survivability. So that's definitely an option you could run. Now, the best skill card you can run is obviously her best in slot Song of Healing that is made for her. And what this is going to do is it has a 35% chance of restoring 10 to 20% of all allies' maximum HP upon being hit by a crit. So this gives her continuous healing if you have this, okay? And that's really, really good, but it's only up to 3 times per battle, so keep that in mind. But this is ideally the skill card you want on her. Additionally, it will give your skill 2 the additional effect of granting all allies Dispel debuff times 2, so it will remove negative status ailments or effects or things like that. So like if Julius does a time stop on you, this could potentially get rid of it, and that could be very, very useful. Unfortunately, I don't have this skill card, so I cannot run it on her, but if I do get the skill card, I will run it on her because it's a very good skill card and it actually changes like completely how the character is played and how good she is. It makes her way better. Don't get me wrong, she's good without it, but the skill card really helps her a lot. Other options you can run besides this skill card, you could obviously run like Charmy or Mimosa skill card, Swimsuit Charmy or Season 1 Mimosa, but besides that you could run like Breath of Wind. And so what Breath of Wind does is it grants immunity to status changes and to yourself for 1 turn at the start of each wave. What that means is it blocks debuffs and then grants HP recovery equal to 7% of your HP to yourself upon being affected by a status change. Okay, so just helps prevent status ailments basically and heals you, which is nice. Just something to add to Kahono. And another option is Adventurer's Journal. This one is probably the best, like not necessarily free to play option, but like you can get this one easier than character specific skill cards, right? And so this applies a 10 to 20% increased max HP buff to yourself. And as you know, all of her stuff scales off of HP. So this is a really, really good skill card to equip to her if you have it and you don't already have it equipped to somebody else. Besides skill cards, let's talk about the gear you want to equip to Kahono. So obviously everything she does scales off of HP, so it should be no surprise that all of the gear sets we put on her are going to be HP gear sets. So like this HP gear set right here is the gold gear set, and it gives max HP plus 7%. When you get it to 4, if you went for a full gear set, it grants 10% of max HP as HP recovery at the start of each turn, which could just make her heal herself a little bit more, which would be nice, but I don't have enough to make the full gold set. That might be one way to go. You could go for a full gold set and then a half set. Right now I have a half gold set, a half regular set, and a half HP recovery set. So then right here you get max HP plus 2000 on this one. And then on the HP recovery received plus 4%, just increasing the overall amount of HP that she recovers, which is nice. Overall, this main stat that you're aiming for here is HP, so we're adding 10,000 HP to her overall stats, making her be able to heal a little bit better. Okay, and we have these HP items on her. Get as many of these on her as possible. It's going to help you out a lot. You could technically go for like no sets right here with an HP character, I feel like, and just go for straight HP items like this, and you might actually end up with more HP overall for your healing if you do something like that. So keep in mind, sets aren't everything, but if you're looking for a build with sets, this is actually a pretty solid build right here because you got 2 HPs, you got a defense and a defense, which is going to let her survive a little bit better, and then you got a little bit of magic attack right here to give her a little bit more damage, right? And if you were going to scale up magic attack or attack, the one you definitely want to be scaling is magic attack. Okay, so this is a pretty good gear set right here. If you upgrade these to plus 12, which they're not upgraded yet, obviously it'll increase everything, make it all better. So this is kind of the gear set I would go for with Kahono. This, or like I said, just don't even worry about the subsets and just go for a straight HP build, a bunch of these HP pieces of gear all together, and that might just let you heal more than using this gear set right here. Okay, and then besides that, enhancement, should you guys be enhancing Kahono or not? If you look at her enhancement for level 2, it grants 5% reduced damage taken. It's always nice to have reduced damage. Additionally, you get, just for having 1 copy, extra HP. Extra HP is always good too. So getting to 2 copies though, I don't feel like it's necessarily worth it. But then once you work your way up to 5 copies, it definitely becomes worth it, okay? Because at 5 copies, you get 8% reduced damage taken. And then here's the big thing though, 12% increased max HP. That is like a massive, massive jump. And yes, at like level 4 here, you get extra defense from level 3 to level 4, which is nice, but I feel like that HP, because everything scales off of HP, is insanely good. So if you are going to dupe Kahono, you want to dupe her all the way. Absolutely. Get her all the way to 5 stars, and then she's going to be very, very useful to you as a supporter, healer, barrier, defense, attack booster character. She just does it all. She's actually insane. But as far as just getting her to 2 stars, I don't really think it's worth it. So if you're going for just like 2 dupes, it's probably not worth it to go for 2 dupes, but definitely worth it if you're going for all 5 dupes to go all the way and go all in. As for talents on Kahono, okay, attack doesn't really matter. Like on other characters like Noelle, you wanted magic attack, like plus 7%, because her stuff scale based on magic attack. But since her stuff doesn't scale based on magic attack, you don't really have to worry about it. However, I will say you probably still want to run that because that is her main attack stat. So if you want a little bit of extra damage, run magic attack on her. And then you can also run the increased crit rate just to give yourself a little bit extra chance to land a crit. I wouldn't run the boss thing unless you're taking on a boss. So like just in terms of general overall talents, these are probably your best 2 talents that you want to put on Kahono to make her do the most damage. And then defense wise, just do the flat 20% and the defense stacking plus 4%, crit resist plus 2% stacking. That's going to help give her even more survivability. Defense is always good, right? Any of this other stuff is not going to be super great for her. You could always, actually, I lied. You do want to do this. So that's one build you could do. Another build you could do is this. So you could do the max HP plus 5% because her stuff scales off of max HP. And then you could also do, actually, this is what you want, grants defense plus 4% and crit resist. So you could do either or. You could do the flat defense plus 20%, or you could do the max HP plus 5%. Either one of those would work for her defense talent slots. And then as for her support talent slots, you're going to probably want the either special skill or the secondary skill coming up more often, so you could go with either of those. It just depends on which one you're looking for, if you're looking for more barriers or if you're looking for more healing. Personally, the route I would go is trying to do the 20% cooldown on skill 2, meaning you get your skill 2 back more, meaning you can barrier more, because that means you can be even more annoying if you also have like a Noelle who has the same thing and a Rades who has the special skill upgrade to get his barrier back faster. Just basically the more barriers you can get, the more annoying you can be. So I think this is probably a pretty good support talent that you can go for. And then of course damage resist in general, you're going to want that no matter which one you go, whether you go for swiftness or if you go for the mage's blessing, you're going to want this one as your other one, damage resist. So those are kind of the talents I would go for on Kahono. And then last but not least, let's talk about what teams you want to be putting her on. So I already have some teams made here. This would be an example of a potential PvP team you could run right now in the current meta. So the idea is you use Valtos to speed up your team, and then you just do barriers, barriers, barriers until the end of time. And you do damage with Noelle, obviously, and her counter and stuff like that. But yeah, this is just an insanely cheesy, annoying team, and the only way to get around it is to either be faster than them or to use characters who get rid of barriers like Season 1 Asta or Yami. So like a really crazy, annoying team if you just want to be annoying. I kind of regret showing you guys this, but yeah, super annoying team right there. And then as for a like mono blue team, you could run something like this. You could run the siblings together, and then you could run Julius and Charmy. Charmy is an extra healer. You don't necessarily need to have an extra healer, but remember Kahono boost healing. So like imagine Charmy's continuous healing with Kahono's boost in healing plus the barriers. Like it can be kind of crazy with these two as attackers as well. It could be really, really good potentially. Another option you could run for like a mono blue team is if we were to swap off that person and we go for this, and I would actually swap off Kyoto and probably go Julius. So this is another blue team you could potentially run. This would be pretty good. You have a defender, a debuffer, an attacker, and a healer. All of them would probably work pretty well together in a certain type of synergy. So this is another option you can run for an all blue team. This all blue team would also work really well for taking on PvE content, either the first one I showed you or this one. As far as the other one goes, I don't know that I would run this in PvE because it's a lot of barriers. It's more of a stall team. So if you're looking to get through PvE efficiently, probably not this team, okay? So those are kind of the team setups I would run with Kahono. Hopefully that helps you guys out. And if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider going down there, hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.
Can anybody out there